I would just really like to encourage participation in the two activities which I've briefly talked about. The one that I know more about is the organisation of the exhibition. It really is designed to be a participative activity which really draws on the different member countries and the different stories of good practice and positive change which have taken place in those countries. So please help us to make it as representative and as wide-reaching as possible by sharing those stories with us. And has everybody had the flyer? If you haven't, there are lots of copies here. I'm very sorry, it's only in English for the moment because we had some technical problems getting it ready in time, but it will exist in French and Spanish, and we'll find a way of getting that to you shortly. Thank you very much.
I think the response or the comment is I'll paraphrase an author that was in a meeting or a conference promoting his book some years ago that I attended, and he held up his book, and the question was, well, what usefulness is your book, or what should we do now with what you're telling us? And he held up his book and he said, if you don't have it, buy it. If you have it, use it. The point is, have a look at this 50-year-old text. We think it's actually a marvelous base for policy and practice. It's not the end of it, but it is a marvelous base for it. Use it as best you can in your own policy practice and practices, and keeping in mind that 50 years ago, after more than 15 years of work at the international level between all kinds of stakeholders, this instrument came into being with the sole objective of trying to improve the status and conditions of teachers in the interests of every learner in the world. And that's what we're all about, and that's what we're still all about.
Okay, there was an issue about whether we should revisit or rewrite or do something like that with the document. I would, picking up on Bill's words, I would say read it, reread it, and see if there's anything in there that you would change substantially. You may want to change wordings, yes, you may want to, there's lots of wordings that maybe don't look right today, but is there anything substantial that you would want to change? And I think it would be good to let us know if that is the case. But the second thing is use it, and I was just thinking, maybe we have to, my colleagues from Chile, we have to write a little note in the paper saying that the recommendations are at last present in large parts of the new law that has just been passed.
Thank you. In the same vein, I think, although the recommendations are 50 years old, the original framers of the recommendation were really far-sighted, because in a way, the recommendation still provides the essential and guiding principles and recommendations to ensure that teachers' status and interests are protected. And I think that's key. One of the things for UNESCO specifically, as per the request of our executive board, is that we are committed to all the recommendations. And I think one of the keys to the work that we will be doing is to ensure the greater visibility and application of the normative instruments, including this particular instrument. So, and I think this is, again, to come back to the point, and as Bill pointed out, we have to use it. And I think we have to use it together to get the greatest impact.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for coming and showing interest in this, and for the excellent questions. 15 years is what Bill said it took to get this recommendation adopted in '66, which shows you the kind of international effort that's needed to get an instrument of this importance out there. A couple of years ago, people started asking me, should we revise the recommendation? And generally, I've often said, probably not, because to get something of this value and this high foresight, accompanied with very strong monitoring measures, in today's climate would be very difficult. But we're now in an Education 2030 environment where teachers have been made very prominent and are a target of the SDGs. And I think, as Dennis said, the dialogue perhaps should start that if we can get an instrument that is of equal quality, that has the same kind of backbone behind it, then why not? Why not start the process slowly to see if there's consensus to do something like that, and maybe faster than 15 years, but at least by the time the Education 2030 agenda is over, we might have a new instrument that actually takes the agenda forward. In the meantime, I can only endorse what the other panelists have said. Please read it, use it, promote it. It does have backbone, and the more people that actually use it, and if needed, even use the allegation procedure, this instrument can actually have an impact. Thank you.
Thank you. A last announcement, whom I would like to introduce you. Carolina Belalcázar has been helpful in putting this program together, and I would like her to present the document.
Okay, no, you may be wondering this other publication that we have distributed. This is the final report that came out from the last meeting of the Joint Committee of the CR Committee. As Beatriz was mentioning, they meet every 3 years, and the last meeting took place in April of 2015 in Paris. The next one will be in 2018. And you will see there very clearly presented the main issues and trends that the CR Committee discussed, the most acute issues related to teachers and their recommendations. So you don't have it with you, you have it at the entrance. You're raising your hand.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. But before we leave, let's give a round of applause to the panelists. We'll see you in the afternoon for the closing part of our Policy Dialogue Forum. But I'll have one more thing to tell you. Remember to complete your evaluation form before leaving Mexico City online. Tell us what sessions you have participated in, what network you have developed, and what commitment you have made to follow up on this. Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Oliver. Bon appétit. And those who are interested in the exhibition, Simon is available to meet with you.